Let me ask you something. What if I told you that right now, today, one of your competitors has just made a hire that will never call in sick, never ask for a raise, never need a performance review, never take a holiday, and can do the work of an entire department? Around the clock, every single day. And what if I told you they didn't post about it? They didn't announce it. They didn't put out a press release. They just did it. Quietly, deliberately, and the gap between them and you just got wider. That is not a hypothetical. That is not a thought experiment. That is happening inside businesses in your sector right now, today. And this episode is your wake-up call. Welcome to AI for the Boardroom. I'm your host, and this is the show where we skip the fluff, cut the jargon, and get straight to what leaders like you actually need to know about artificial intelligence. Not theory, not hype. Not the version of AI that gets presented on a slide deck at a conference and sounds impressive, but changes nothing. The real version. The version that is quietly restructuring industries, reshrinking cost bases, and separating the organizations that are moving from the ones that are watching. If you're new here, brilliant, glad you found us. Go to aifortheboardroom.com right now. That's aifortheboardroom.com. Bookmark it, save it, make it your first stop. Every episode we produce, every framework we share, every resource to help you lead through this, it's all there, free, ready for you. Go use it. Now, let's get into it. Because what I'm about to share with you is more urgent than anything on your agenda today. Here's the thing about the AI revolution that nobody tells you at conferences. It isn't loud. It doesn't arrive with fanfare. It doesn't come with a big announcement or a CEO on a stage declaring transformation. It is quiet, it is surgical, and by the time most leaders notice it happening, the companies doing it have already built an advantage that is very, very hard to close. Here's what's actually happening out there right now. Businesses, real businesses, in real industries, are taking entire functions and rebuilding them around AI agents. Not as a side project, not as an innovation lab experiment, as the actual operating model. Finance teams, operations functions, customer service departments, legal and compliance, procurement, marketing, HR. One by one, the functions that used to require headcount, management, office space, and a budget line are being rebuilt. Leaner, faster, smarter. And when that happens, when a business makes that shift, something extraordinary occurs. The function doesn't just get faster, it gets structurally cheaper, permanently, and that cost advantage doesn't sit still. It compounds. Every single month that business runs leaner, they have more resource, more cash, more people, more capacity to throw at growth. At product development, at customer acquisition, at winning the customers that used to be yours. This is not the future of business. This is the present. This is Q2 2026. This is now. And if you're sitting there thinking, yeah, we're across this, we've got something in the works, we're exploring AI, I want to genuinely challenge you on that. Because exploring is not the same as moving. And moving is the only thing that counts right now. Let me tell you about 3 things that are happening in boardrooms that are actively slowing companies down. Because I see these patterns constantly, and they are costing leaders time they do not have. The first is what I call the productivity trap. Most boardroom AI conversations are still framed around making people more productive. How do we give our teams better tools? How do we help them work faster? How do we get more output for the same cost? And look, that's not nothing. Productivity gains are real, and they matter. But that is not the conversation that is creating competitive separation right now. The leaders who are genuinely pulling ahead are not asking how AI makes their team more productive. They are asking something fundamentally more disruptive. What does this function look like if humans aren't doing the majority of it at all? That question changes everything. It's not about augmenting your existing operation. It's about reimagining it from first principles. And most boardrooms haven't even started that conversation yet. The second pattern is what I call the demo problem. Most senior leaders have now sat through at least one AI demonstration, maybe several, and most of those demonstrations have shown them tools, chat interfaces, summarization, document generation, things that feel clever for 30 seconds and then immediately raise the question, okay, impressive, but what does this actually change for us? The answer is not much. because that is not the demonstration that matters. The demonstration that matters is a workflow, an end-to-end business process running autonomously. You define the inputs, the agent takes over, it makes decisions, it accesses systems, it takes actions, it produces outputs, without a human touching it at any point. When a CEO sees that for the first time, really sees it live, in the context of their own business, the conversation changes overnight. I have watched it happen. The questions change, the urgency changes, the appetite to move changes completely. If you haven't seen that yet, finding someone who can show you a live agentic workflow is the single most valuable hour you can spend this month. The third pattern is the readiness myth. There is a persistent belief in leadership teams, and I hear it constantly, that doing this properly requires massive investment. A data science team, a transformation program, an 18-month roadmap, a budget that needs 3 rounds of approval. It doesn't. The tooling that exists today, right now, has matured to a point where capable production-ready agentic workflows can be deployed in weeks, not years. The barrier to entry is lower than it has ever been, lower than deploying a CRM 10 years ago, lower than standing up a basic analytics function 5 years ago. The bottleneck is not technology, it is not budget, it is not readiness. It is the speed of decision-making at the top, and that is entirely within your control. Now let me make this real for you, because I want you to feel this, not just hear it. Picture 2 companies, same sector, same size, same market. 18 months ago, identical cost bases, identical headcount, identical challenges. Company A spent the last 18 months doing what most companies are doing. They ran workshops, they brought in a consultancy, they built a working group, they created a steering committee, they developed a roadmap, they presented it to the board asked for more detail, they revised it. They're now on version 3. Company B did something different. They picked one workflow, accounts payable. They found a partner who could move fast. 6 weeks later, they had an agentic system processing invoices, flagging exceptions, reconciling accounts, automatically. It wasn't perfect on day 1. They iterated, they improved it. Then they picked the next workflow, then the next. Today, 18 months later, Company B is delivering the operational output of a finance team of 8 with 2 people and a set of intelligent agents. The other 6 redeployed. 3 went into a new sales function, 2 into product. 1 is leading the next phase of AI deployment. Their cost base is structurally lower, their margins are stronger, their speed to make decisions and act on them is faster, and they are compounding that advantage every single month. Company A is still in the workshop. Now here is the brutal truth. Company A is not run by bad leaders. They're not lazy. They're not unintelligent. They're running the same playbook that has worked for decades. Careful, considered, structured change management. But that playbook was written for a world where change happens slowly enough for committees to keep up. That world is gone. So what do you actually do? Right now. This week, before Friday, I'm going to give you 4 moves. Practical, specific, no excuses. Move 1. Run the exposure audit. Get in a room with your leadership team. Map your major functions. For each one, ask a single honest question. What percentage of the work in this function is repetitive, process-driven, and based on structured information or defined rules? If the answer is more than 50%, and in most functions it's significantly higher than that, that function is exposed, not in a vague future sense, in a concrete your competitor could move on this tomorrow sense. Do this exercise. Write it down. Rank your functions by exposure. Then ask, which of these are we going to move on first? That conversation alone will change the temperature in your leadership team. Move 2. Demand a live workflow demonstration. Not a presentation about AI, not a vendor pitch with slides. A live demonstration of an agentic workflow doing real work, processing real data, making real decisions, producing real output. Ask your technology team, ask a partner, ask someone in your network. Find it, book it, watch it. And when you see it, pay attention to how you feel. Because that feeling, that shift in your gut when you realize what is actually possible right now, that is the feeling that drives action. And action is what you need. Move 3. Pick one workflow and commit to a 6-week proof of concept. Not a pilot with a committee overseeing it. A proof of concept with a clear owner, a clear objective, and a 6-week deadline. One function, one workflow. Move fast, learn fast, adjust fast. The goal is not perfection. The goal is proof. Proof that your organization can do this. Proof that the technology works in your context. Proof that you can move. Because once you have that proof, everything changes. The appetite for the next one is completely different. Move for. Go to aifortheboardroom.com. I mean this seriously. For more support, more information, frameworks, practical guidance, and everything you need to start having the right conversations and taking the right actions, it is all at aifortheboardroom.com. That's aifortheboardroom.com. We built it specifically for leaders who know they need to move, but aren't sure exactly where to start. If that's you, that is your starting point. Go there today. Let me leave you with something I want you to carry out of this episode. The companies winning with AI right now are not the biggest. They are not the ones with the largest technology budgets or the most sophisticated data infrastructure. They are the ones where the person at the top decided to move. That's it. That is the differentiator. A decision, made by a leader, followed by action. Your competitor isn't sitting in a workshop right now. They are not waiting for the technology to mature, or for the business case to be more certain, or for the board to feel more comfortable. They have already made the call. Their agents are already working. The advantage is already building. So I want to ask you one final question, and I want you to sit with it. 6 months from now, when you look back at this moment, at this period, at the decisions you made in the first half of 2026, are you going to be the leader who moved or the leader who waited? Because in the age of agentic AI, there is no comfortable middle ground. You are either the disruptor or the disrupted. You are either reshaping your organization or watching someone else use this technology to take your market. The window is open right now. It will not stay open forever. Move. That's AI for the boardroom. And if this episode fired you up, good. Now channel that into action. Share this with one leader who needs to hear it. A fellow CEO, a board member, a colleague who is still sitting on the fence. Send it to them today, right now. Because the conversation your network needs to be having is the one we just had. For more support, more information, and everything you need to go from thinking about AI to actually moving on it, go to aifortheboardroom.com. That's aifortheboardroom.com. It's your home base. Use it. Hit follow on Spotify so you never miss an episode. We are dropping new content every week, and every episode is designed to give you something you can act on immediately. And I will see you in the next one.